Good morning, everyone. Are you able to hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Today, I'll be discussing two problems on Provident Fund. These problems have come in the exam, and both the problems are a bit different, and that is the reason I want to discuss these two problems. Okay. Now, uh, before I go and start with the problem, it is very important for you to remember these conditions. Okay, I will keep on referring to these conditions again, whenever we come to those particular problems. But just remember some basic points here. If anyone is contributing towards a recognized provident fund in excess of 12%, anything above 12% has to be considered for taxation. Clear? Any company who pays an interest over and above 9.5% has to be considered for taxation. Okay. Any lump sum amount received from the provident fund is exempted in all the cases except for the unrecognized provident fund. So these one, two, three, these conditions are important for us to understand. Okay, how do we do the tax treatment as far as provident fund calculations are concerned? Okay, so I'm just going to refer to this slide off and on because I have to explain theory also, and accordingly we have to solve problems. So keeping this in mind, let us proceed with the next part. So we have a problem here. Okay, I hope it is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Now you have the problem here, which is available to you. I think I'll just blow up the screen. Yeah, can somebody please read this problem? Not somebody, all of you read this problem and just make a note of what are the things that we have to take into consideration as far as solving this particular problem is concerned. Just make a note of this. So we have for the previous year 18-19. Okay, so previous year is 18-19 means what is the assessment year?
1920.
1920 becomes the assessment year. Okay, so we have the following information which has been provided to us by Mr. X. Okay, so he has a basic salary. Now all these values are per annum basis unless and otherwise specified. So all these values are per annum basis. So he is receiving a salary of 1,20,000 per year. Okay, he is receiving DA. 46% of it is a part of his retirement benefit. Okay, so the total amount is 40,000. Out of that, 46% is what we have to consider whenever those calculations come into picture. He is receiving a commission. It is very clearly told to you that the commission percentage is 1% of the turnover achieved by him. Okay, so 1% of 6 lakhs is how much? Is 6,000. Okay, so this is the commission that he is going to receive. He is also receiving children's education allowance for 2 children. Okay, he is receiving around 7,200 rupees from the company as children's education allowance. His employer, okay, is contributing around 20,000 rupees per annum towards this provident fund, and the interest that is credited on provident fund is at 11%. Okay, remember what I told you something. You have to take into consideration certain aspects, that interest should not be more than 9.5%. Okay, but here we can see interest is being contributed at 11%. So we have to do some treatment here. We have to do some calculations here, right? Apart from that, he is also receiving income from other sources. So this will consider when we come to income from other sources. Now the question that they have asked you is find out the net income of Mr. X. Okay, if the if he is if he is under statutory provident fund, if he is under recognized provident fund, and under unrecognized provident fund. So under all three heads, we have to show the calculations. Okay, any doubts in understanding this particular problem?
No, sir.
Okay, now we'll try to solve this particular problem. Please pay attention. Nowhere in this particular problem it has been told to us that Mr. X has retired. Has it been told to you? Anywhere in the problem Is it told to you that Mr. X has retired?
No, no, sir.
No. Point number one. Second, okay. Second condition is the concept of PF is a retirement benefit, but contribution can happen whenever you are in service. I repeat, even when you are in service, your contribution towards PF is happening. The money that you're going to get after your retirement, that is what we call as lump sum payment of PF. Now, in all these cases, first thing is we never know that whether this person has retired. Okay. Next point that we have to understand is he has not received any lump sum amount of money after his retirement from PF. So these 2 points are very important. What does it mean? It simply means that we have to ignore this part as of now, because this talks about lump sum payment received. So when there is no lump sum payment being received, right, we don't have to take into consideration this particular last point. So we'll have to consider only these 3 points that we have to take into consideration for calculation. This is how you need to analyze the problems. Fine. So we'll start solving this particular problem. In fact, I have solved it, but I'm just going to explain to you how did I solve this particular problem. And remember, this is the way you need to solve problems on Provident Fund. Okay. Now, is this screen visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll keep on referring off and on, so don't worry about it if I flip the slides. It is very clearly told to you that we have to compute net income under all three heads, that is statutory PF, recognized provident fund, and unrecognized provident fund. Under all three heads, we have to take into consideration. Now, when we take into consideration all three heads, we have to take everything into one account, right? Now, let us start with the basic salary. Now, it is very clearly told to you that the basic salary in the problem is 1,20,000. The same amount without any change, I have mentioned it under all three heads. Because irrespective of whether you come under recognized PF or unrecognized PF, okay, salary is going to remain the same. So I have mentioned 1,20,000 under all three heads. Next, I have considered DA, okay, and DA I have taken 40,000 under the head. Can you tell me why have I not considered 46% of DA when it is told to me in the problem? It is told to me, right? 46% is a part of retirement benefit, right? Ideally, I should have taken 46% of 40,000, but I have not taken it. I have taken directly 40,000. Can anyone explain to me why have I taken 40,000 directly?
Sir, they have not told that whether he is retired or no, sir.
Yes. 46% of the 46% of DA we have to consider only when he retires from the services, right? Only when he's due for retirement or whenever he's retiring from the services, only that time it has to be considered. He is still in service, and if he's still in service, we did not consider that partial percentage that has been given as far as DA calculation is concerned. So we have to consider the full DA here. Any doubts in understanding this? Others, please respond. Are you able to understand why I have taken 40 and why not 46% of 40,000?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next, we come to the commission. Commission, it is very clearly told to us in the problem that it is going to be 1% of 6 lakhs. So what is 6 lakhs? 6 lakhs is nothing but the turnover achieved by him, the business that he has done in that particular year. He has done a business of 6 lakh rupees. So out of that 6 lakh rupees, 1% of 6 lakh, which is nothing but 6,000, is been paid to him as a commission. So we have to consider that. So that also amount comes as it is. Clear? Any doubts in this particular part up to the first three readings or the first 3 points?
No, sir. No.
Now we come to the next part. This is children's education allowance. Very clearly it is told to us in the problem that this particular person, Mr. X, is receiving children's education allowance for 2 children. The total amount that he is receiving is 7,200 rupees from his employer, right? Now, he is receiving 7,200 rupees, but income tax authorities say, irrespective of how much you receive, there is a calculation that you have to do, and if the amount falls within that calculation, only then the amount is going to be exempted. Otherwise, the balance amount is going to be taxable. So let us see what happens here. Right here it says children's education allowance. How much have I received? 7,200 rupees. That is what has been given to me in the problem. What does the income tax authority say? you can receive a maximum of 100 rupees per child, maximum up to 2 children for 12 months in a year. So it is going to be 100 into 2 into 12, works out at 2,400 rupees. Now, please understand, he is receiving 7,200 rupees. He is exempted from paying tax on that only to the tune of 2,400 rupees. What does it mean? The balance amount, which is nothing but 4,800 rupees, is going to be taxable. Are you able to understand this? I repeat, one of the clause of income tax which I discussed earlier says that if your employer is paying you an allowance as far as education for your children, there's a condition. Any amount of allowance that you receive from the company is fine, but you cannot claim that entire money as education allowance. There is a restriction put by the government, and the government has put a restriction as 100 rupees per child, maximum up to 2 children into 12 months, right? So it comes to this amount, okay, this amount 100 into 2 into 12, this amount comes to 2,400. 7,200 minus 2,400 works out at 4,800 rupees. Any doubts in understanding this?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, fine. Now we come to the employer's contribution. Remember, in the problem, it is clearly told to you employer's contribution is 20,000 rupees. Fine. Your employer is paying you 20,000 rupees every year towards your PF. Agreed. Now, if this is the employer's contribution, let us go back to the basic theory conditions. What does it say? Employer contribution is permitted. For statutory provident fund, any amount that the employer pays is going to be exempted from tax. It is very clearly told to us. For an unrecognized fund, any amount that has been paid by the employer is also exempted from tax. But there's a problem in this particular case. It says exempted from tax only up to 12%. Anything above 12% is going to be taxable. So the first task that we have to find out is we have to find out how much is employer actually contributing. Okay. Is this 20,000 equal to 12% of my salary? Is what I have to find out. Is this 20,000 equal to 12% of my salary? Is what I have to find out. Are you able to understand the logic here? Any doubts in understanding this?
Sir, can you explain again?
Yes. See, in the problem, it is clearly told to us that employer's contribution is 20,000 rupees. Agreed? Fine. So in other words, your employer is contributing 20,000 rupees towards your PF. And when will you get this PF? When you retire. This contribution that the employer is making, when will you get it? When you retire. Have you retired? You have still not retired, but you will get this money on your retirement. Clear? Next. If this is the amount of money that the employer is contributing, we have to check whether this amount is equal to or greater than 12% of your salary. Clear? That is what the condition says. Is it 12% or more than 12%? If it is below 12%, then entire amount is going to be exempted. But if something is more than 12%, that balance amount has to be taxable. And that is what we are going to find out. Why? Because this is employer's contribution. So let us see if this 20,000 is equal to 12% of my salary or something more than my salary. Narayan, is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us see. We are somewhere here. So employer's contribution towards a recognized provident fund in excess of 12% of salary, right? So first thing is we have to understand what is salary. We need to understand what is salary. Salary is equal to basic salary plus DA. Okay. Here you have to include retirement benefit. Can somebody tell me why I have to include here? When I did DA calculation here, I did not take retirement benefit. But when I'm taking DA calculation here, why I need to consider retirement benefit? Can somebody explain to me? In fact, I have already told you the answer.
If given at the end of retirement.
Yeah, can anyone tell me please quickly? Okay, I told you that employer is contributing towards your PF. When will you get this PF?
At the end of retirement.
Retirement, right?
Retirement.
So now,
Retirement.
if you're retiring, that means 46% of DA I have to consider for retirement basis. Are you able to understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Yes, sir.
I repeat once again. This employer's contribution of 20,000 that you are receiving, you are going to receive at the end of your retirement. That means when you retire from the company, on that day you will receive it. Fair enough. Now, if this is the amount of money that you are going to receive and on your retirement basis, we have to make calculation of salary to know whether this amount is more than 12% or less than 12%. Right? Now, to know that, I have to consider 46% of the DA because this amount is you are going to receive it on your retirement basis. So naturally, I have to take into consideration. Now, this is how the calculation is going to work out. So I'll consider my basic salary as it is. I want somebody to please make a note of this. If you have your calculator, okay, please make the calculations. Okay, I'll just tell you. What is your basic salary? 1,20,000. What is your DA? 40,000 into 46% of 40,000. The calculation is here. 1,20,000 plus 46% of 40,000 plus 6,000. 6,000 is nothing but the commission. So for all retirement benefits, how do you compute salary? Basic plus DA forming a part of retirement benefit and a fixed percentage of turnover achieved by him. This is what we consider as salary. So 1,20,000 plus 46% of 40,000 plus 60,000. The total amount that comes, okay, the total, just see what is the total amount that it comes out. I think it comes somewhere around 17,000. Just check it.
So it's 24,400. So only adding of 46% of 40,000 plus 6,000.
Yeah. So 1,20,000 plus 46% of 40,000 plus 6,000.
So 1,44,400.
How can it be?
So 1,20,000, right?
Yeah, 1,20,000.
Yes, sir. It's 1,44,400 only, sir.
Into 12%.
Okay, into 12.
There's 17,328.
Okay. So as per calculation, 328 is the amount that you can claim for exemption. How much did you receive? 20,000. How much you can claim benefit? 17,000 odd. So what is the balance amount?
So 2,672.
2,672.
2,672.
Yes, sir.
So that is the amount that is going to be taxable. That is the reason I have mentioned it under recognized provident fund. Now you may ask me, why have I not written here and why I have not written here? Very simple. I go back to the theory. Okay. Here it says amount is completely exempted. Here also it says amount is completely exempted. For unrecognized and for statutory, amount is completely exempted. Only it is taxable for recognized, and that is what I have done. Only for recognized I have considered this. Any doubts in this?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I want others also to respond. Are you able to understand what has been discussed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fine.
Sir,
Yes, Rashmi.
so I'm not really understanding as to why do we take DA initially. So retirement benefit.
Which one? In the main, I'll just point out the finger, just tell me, are you not able to understand this part?
So the DA here we have not considered only the retirement benefit. We have taken the entire amount, right, sir?
Yes.
DA, sir. And then here we have considered only 46% of that.
Yeah.
So
what
that
I-
I'm not
why
understanding
46
why.
is that you are not understanding? Okay, I'll tell you. See,
Yes, sir.
Rashmi, understand one thing. He has not yet retired. So if he has not yet retired, we should not consider 46% here.
Yes, sir.
He has not retired, right?
Yes, sir.
So we have to consider the full amount. So I've considered here full amount.
Yes, sir.
But when it comes to this part, the amount that 20,000, that amount that his employer is going to pay him, when will he pay him? On his retirement.
Okay, sir. On his retirement.
That means after he retires, only then he will be able to get this 20,000 rupees.
So then employers don't contribute it monthly or yearly as it happens, because if employees contribution happens every month, right, sir, from salary it gets deducted.
Correct. What you say is correct. Employer also contributes
Yes, sir.
every month, no doubt about it.
Yes, sir.
But are you receiving the money?
Yes, sir. No, sir.
When will
Only
you
at the
receive-
end we receive it.
When will you receive it?
Only at the time of retirement, sir.
Okay. So if you are going to receive this particular money only on the time of retirement, then is it not good that we consider the retirement benefits of DA?
Yes, sir.
So that is the reason when it comes
Understood,
to
sir.
employer contribution, I have taken 46% of DA, whereas in the first part, I have not taken 46%, because in the first part, he is still in service, and in the second part of DA that I have considered, he is going to receive the money only after retirement. And now it is clearly told to us in the problem that 46% of his DA is going to be part of his retirement benefit. That is the reason I have taken.
Yes.
Getting it, Rashmi?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay. Next, we come to interest credited to recognized provident fund. Again, I'm going back to the theory. Okay. Here we have done with this part. Interest credited on PF at 11% is clearly told to us. So 11% interest is coming out to 93,500. Okay. Now let us go back to theory. What does the theory say? Interest can be credited to PF account. Any interest that you receive here under statutory is going to be exempted. Any interest that you receive under unrecognized, that is also going to be exempted. Problem is only with recognized provident fund. If you receive up to 9.5%, it is going to be exempted from tax. But anything that you receive above 9.5%, the balance amount is going to be taxable. Clear? Now, let us come back to the problem. Here it is very clearly told to us that, interest is credited on PF at 11%. So 11 is definitely greater than 9.5%. By how much is it greater than 9.5%? It is
1.5.
Yeah, by how much is it greater? It is greater by 1.5%. Right? 11
Yes, sir.
is 11% is greater than 9.5%. By how much is it greater? It is greater by 1.5%. Now, how do I get this 1.5%? 11% minus 9.5%. When you do this, whatever answer that you get, it comes to 1.5%, which means that he is receiving extra 1.5% of interest, and that amount has to be taxable. Yeah. So how do we do the calculations for this is what I'm going to tell you. So here it says interest credited to recognized provident fund in excess of 9.5% per annum. Now, how much is it? Total interest, what is he receiving? He is receiving 93,500. That amount I have considered here. Okay, sorry, I think there is a mistake here. 93,500. So this is the amount of money that he is receiving, 93,500. 93,500 is the amount that he is receiving into 1.5. So where did I get this 1.5?
So
11 minus 9.5.
11 minus 9.5. From where did I get 11? 11 is given to me in the problem itself. Okay. So the difference amount divided by 11%, what is given in the problem. When you solve this, okay, just solve this. Solve it.
13,159.
12,750, sir.
How much?
12,750.
12,000. So you are receiving extra 12,750 rupees, and that amount is going to be taxable. This amount is going to be taxable here. Any doubts in this? Okay, for just calculation part or just for your understanding part, I'm just trying to ask you something. Let us see how many of you answer me. Nabiraj, are you there?
Sir.
Okay, Nabiraj, tell me, if instead of receiving 11% as interest, if I receive 12% of interest, how will the calculation work out?
93,500 into 1.5 divided by 12.
Why 1.5? Why did I get?
Just a second, sir.
Where did I get 1.5?
7% means, just a second, sir. I'll just calculate. Sorry, sir. 2.5.
Okay.
12 minus 9.5.
Yeah, 12 minus 9.5 will become 2.5.
Yes, sir.
So 2.5,
Yes, sir.
93,500 into 2.5 divided by 12. Whatever answer
Yes,
that
sir.
you get, that is going to be taxable. Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So in my case, it was 11. So this extra amount is going to be taxable. Now, once we are done with this, just check. Sorry. Just check, is anything left out? Okay. This has been considered. DA is considered. Commission is considered. Children's education allowance is considered. Employer's contribution is also considered. Interest credited is also considered. We have not considered this income from other sources. Income from other sources, we will consider it later. First, let us see what is the income from salary. Okay. So we'll try to take the total of this. When I take a total of all these values, I get gross salary as 1,70,000 under statutory provident fund, 186 and 170 under recognized and unrecognized provident fund. Okay. Next, less deductions. Are there any deductions in salary, like standard deduction, entertainment allowance? Is something mentioned like this? Nothing is mentioned. So I have kept
No,
it
sir.
blank. Okay, so I have kept it blank because nothing is mentioned. So whatever is my gross salary, that itself will become my income from salary or my net salary. So the same amount has been written down. Now to this, I add income from other sources. What is income from other sources that I have received? Might be I have received some money, or this X has received some money. So he has received around 86,000 rupees in that particular year. So that is going to be charged to income from other sources. Okay. So when you take the total of these two, you get gross total income 2,56,000. You get 2,56,800. Okay, and accordingly you get all those amounts that are mentioned under gross total income. Okay, now less deductions. Okay, can you see here less deductions under section 80C? All of you are able to
Yes,
see
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
this? Yeah. Now, from where did I get this 20,000 rupees? Because in the problem it is not mentioned. In the problem it is nowhere mentioned 20,000 rupees. From where will I get this? From where did I get this 20,000 rupees?
Commission.
From where did I get this 20,000 rupees?
So interest credited on PF,
No, but that is 93,000 rupees, right?
that is 90.
Why 20,000? Okay, the reason is, just look at this value, employer's contribution, 20,000 rupees. Okay, just look at this. I'll go back to theory. Less deductions. Okay, less deductions. What deduction? Any amount contributed by the employer is eligible for tax deduction. So how much is eligible? Under statutory, the benefit is available. Under recognized, the benefit is available. Under unrecognized, the benefit is not available. Okay, and that is what I've done. less deduction under section 80C. 20,000 is the contribution made by the employer. Here also 20,000 is the contribution made by the employer. Here there is no exemption available or no deduction is applicable, so I have left it blank. So when you take the difference between these two, whatever amount I get, that is my net income. Are you able to get it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any doubts in this?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. So this problem had come in the exam tax management paper. This problem had come, and there is one more problem that has come. Okay, this is that particular problem that has come. The only difference is, okay, in this particular problem that I'm going to solve, Mr. A has retired. Okay, there is a date been given. He has retired on this particular day. The previous problem I told you, this person did not retire. In the previous problem, this person did not retire. He was in service, and when during his course of service, the PF amount was paid to him. Here, this particular person, Mr. A, has retired. So we have to, our calculations, have to change in that particular way. Also, the salary that is mentioned here is on per month basis. If you observe it, salary that is mentioned here is on per month basis. Okay, so we will solve this particular problem in the next class as far as the solution to arrive at this particular problem as far as statutory PF, recognized PF and unrecognized PF is concerned. Clear? The solution is available. Only thing is I have to explain to you how did I come to this particular solution. So we'll do this part in the next class. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. So that gratuity problem and remaining, no, sir. That two companies are there.
Yeah.
Mr. X and marketing specialist.
Got it. I'll solve that also.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that we have to deduct that 20,000 exemption of A company in the statutory limit of 20 lakh, no, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, sir. That 19 lakh 80,000 we get that.
Yes. So only benefit that will be available is your
Okay, sir.
standard benefit will be 19 lakhs 80,000 now hereafter.
Standard bill 19 lakh. Yes, sir.
So we'll stop the
Yes,
class
sir.
here. We'll continue in the next class.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.